Hello there guys, today I will be providing a complete overview to Counterside, what to do as a new player, how to start up, get going, get strong, and eventually tell you what to do in the future as well, prep you for the future, so you can enjoy the game to the fullest, because there can be quite a lot to take in as a new player. This video will be separated into parts, so you can find each part that you want in future viewing, or just go to whatever part you want to know about the most. Alright, without further ado, let's talk about why you should play Counterside. Well, it is a very free-to-play game, very free-to-play friendly game. You can progress through all PvE content fairly easily as a free-to-play player without spending a dime. And if you do want to actually spend money, the offerings at hand are pretty generous as well. The graphics are very good, everything's very nice. And also, there's tons of content to play through, tons of stuff in the game at the moment, and new updates every week, which will provide even more stuff to play through. So, when you start the game, you're going to go through a little tutorial, and then you're going to get spat out to a main menu here. Now, this can be pretty confusing. It can seem like information overload if you're just looking at it for the first time, but everything here is important. So let's just go through what you're going to see here. So top left, you'll see your player level. This is really just a number. After you hit about 75, this will stop mattering. As your level increases, you can get more Eternium cap. You can have more Eternium at a time, and you can get more world map branches. Next to that, you'll see your name, if you have any account buffs at the moment, and your guild. If you click here, you can go to your guild, or it's called consortium in this game. And going over, you have your coins. This might seem like a big number, but you go through coins and gain coins very quickly. Eventually, you'll be swimming in them, though, so don't worry too much about coins. Next to that, Eternium. This is the stamina in this game. You use this to play through missions, and if you're out of it, then you're not going to be able to play anything. So make sure that you always keep some around, unless you're planning on logging out for the day. Next to that, you'll see mail. Mail is, as a new player, you'll have a bunch of stuff in here. Don't claim the purple stuff. You'll have a bunch of the purple stuff, a bunch of Eternium, because if you have Eternium over your cap, then you'll stop regenerating Eternium, and you'll be losing out on Eternium, and that's no good. Next to that, you'll have Quartz. Quartz is sort of the freemium currency in this game. You can pay for it, but also you gain quite a lot of it just as free-to-play, and it's pretty easy to get. And next to that, you have admin coins. This is a purely paid currency, mostly used for skins. So, operations. This is where you're going to be playing through most of your maps. You're going to have the main story here, as well as quite a few other missions to go through. Below that, you have squad. This is where you can manage each team that you have. You can select units, select what ship you want, all that. And next to squad, you can see management, which is where you can find all of your units and ships and operators that you own, and filter through and find exactly which one you want to do whatever you want with them. Gauntlet, this is going to be PvP. And HQ, this is going to bring you to your HQ, which has a lab for skill training, and more uses later, not in the game at the moment. Workshop, which is mostly for crafting gear. Hangar for managing your ships, and CEO's office for doing salary negotiations. World map will bring you to a map of the world where you can find all of your world branches. You can access raids here, and you can access dives here. Counterpass, this is sort of the battle pass system in this game. There's a paid track and a free track. You get quite a lot it's just a free player, so don't feel too pressured into buying it. You'll be a-okay. You'll have missions daily and weekly. Complete them and you'll get rewards. Over to manage partners, this is where you'll find all your friends, add new friends, all that. As a new player, before you reach account level 25, make sure to add a mentor. A mentor will, when you add a mentor, you'll get a bunch of missions, and when you complete all of them, you'll get an SSR for free, so don't miss out on this. You can no longer access mentor after level 25. After level 25, you become a mentor yourself, and you can add mentees under you. And for more the mentees you have, you get some rewards as a mentor. Storage. Here you can access any consumables that you might have, as well as look at through your gear. Rank, no one cares about that. Collection, this is where you just see what units you have, what you're missing, and all that. Consortium, this is your guild in the game. You go here, and you can find all the people in your guild, weekly missions, so on and so forth. On the left side here, you'll have missions. This is where you can complete your dailies, your weeklies, and various achievements. You can also check what day of the month, like what attendance day you're on. You can access the shop here, recruit, which is where you're going to get new units. And you can access the various events by clicking on this bottom icon here. You can just scroll through, see what's going on, and access all this. Alright, so with that out of the way, now you sort of get you got a lay of the menus, what to go through. What are the actual mechanics of the game? As you go through the tutorial, you'll see that you'll go through a lot of these missions, which are sort of one-offs, where you'll play just a map with one fight, and you'll go through the story. There'll be like a dialogue thing before it, and yeah. For actual game mechanics, as you play through the game, as the mission progresses, you'll get DP, deployment points. You start with more depending on what level your ship is. And with deployment points, you can deploy your units. Each unit has some deployment point. Counters, there's 3 types of units in this game: counters, soldiers, and mechs. Counters all have a ultimate ability, a passive ability, and a on-battlefield ability, which recharges as well on entrance. So the blue bar is your sort of ability that's always charged at the beginning of the game, and it activates as soon as you deploy it, and it'll also recharge over time. Purple ability is like the purple bar is a very strong ability, ultimate ability, that will it's going to be the strongest effect, but you have to have your operator alive for quite a while to actually pull it off. Green bar is going to be HP, and yeah, that's pretty much the basics. You just got to deploy your units as you have DP to pull them up at the very basic level, and try to 3-star the maps. Of course, this becomes much more in-depth on later levels, but that is the basics of that. However, eventually you will come across some maps like Free Contract, which will have multiple battles in one. So as you can see here, you have to deploy various squads. Each ship has different movements. So, for example, if we deploy, if we bring in a friend here, we can only deploy assault ships on the yellow assault spots. And if you were to play through this, you can see, well, my assault ship can only move one tile here, whereas this ship can move 2 tiles diagonally. So for these maps, you'd have different requirements, like to 3-star them, like defeat all enemies without retreating, 3 or more preemptive strikes, which is where you have to attack the enemy before they attack you. And you also have ammo for each ship, so you can only fight 2 battles per ship before you have to recharge. Some maps will have a tile on them, or you can enter them, spend a little bit of Eternium to recharge 1 ammo. If you don't have ammo, then your unit will instantly die when they get engaged on. So that's the very basics of the game. Now, as for game modes, there's obviously the main story, which should be the first thing that you're clearing through. There's 5 episodes at the moment. You're probably going to start experiencing some difficulty around episode 4, like end of episode 4, beginning of episode 5. Episode 5 is current endgame. On Southeast Asia, there's currently up to episode 7. On KR, I believe they're up to episode 8 or 9. Supply operations. This is going to be various missions that will provide you with unique rewards for sort of each currency in the game. Some of these, like talent recruitment, will allow you to farm for specific units, and there are quite a few good ones in here. Simulation, you get 2 entrances to these a day. Make sure you use them. They provide rewards for no Eternium, just the simulation ticket. Side stories. These are little side stories about individual characters, and if you clear them and you clear the hard mode of them, you can start farming for units as well. Each map here has a chance to drop you in the unit that you're farming for, as well as drops unit data that will eventually be able to be turned into a full unit. Challenge mode. This is endgame content. You probably won't be playing this much until you clear Act 5 and have a clue what's going on. Counter case. As you level up certain employees, you'll unlock counter cases for the blue info currency, and it'll give you a little story as well as a little reward, so make sure you go through these. They're just sort of little free rewards. Free contract. This is another sort of late game gear grinding type of content. Client 1 is probably going to be some of the hardest maps in the game that aren't challenge mode. And event. This is where limited time events are going on, and make sure that you clear all these before they go away. Additionally, in the game, there is raid bosses, which you will probably not be able to beat by yourself. What you do is you have a massive team of 30 units. Actually, more than 30 units, I think. But you have a massive team of units, and you can team up with other players, and all of you will chip away at the boss until you finally defeat it. You also have dives. Dives can spawn from both the branches after you complete a mission, and you have a guaranteed dive here. This dive goes up to 45 at the moment on Southeast Asia. We're up to dive level 50, which is some of the hardest content in the game. These are one-time rewards. As you clear them, you'll get some pretty solid rewards, and you can reset them every month. You'll get one reset per month. Don't use the reset unless you've cleared all the way down to level 45 or level 50, because then you're just wasting resources if you're using it, popping it early. So, with game modes out of the way, what should you do to get started? It's pretty simple, actually. Under missions, you'll have below emblem something called either small firm, mid-sized firm, large firm, and I think there's one or two above that. Those will just sort of teach you they'll make you go through the ropes, provide you rewards along the way, show you how to get through the game mechanics up until the end of Act 3. So just follow those along until you complete them, and you should be good as a very new player. You'll also have, as a new player, the new player event for 7 days. This will also reward you for things as you go through, reward you for what you do as you play through, and teach you some mechanics as well, like sort of when you should have leveled up units, and show you different exchange centers, that sort of stuff. Just show you the mechanics. And so after you've finished those missions, those early small firm, big firm missions, and you finish off Act 3, you should just keep clearing the story if you can, Episode 4 and Episode 5. If you cannot clear the story, then you should go to the event stages and clear Sweet Promotion. This is the current event. All the events in the game are meant to be cleared by low-level players, so if you're entering the game, you should be able to clear at least the basic side story. The challenge mode, on the other hand, is meant for experienced players who have a built-up account to give them a little challenge with a little bit of an extra reward. Make sure you do your simulations every day as a new player. You should always be doing the highest difficulty one possible. So you get 2 tickets a day, so you should be able to realistically clear in 3 days the entire attack train and defense training, all the trainings. You should be able to clear them all in 3 days, and once that's done, you can just when you want to do them each day, you can just skip through them. So that's what you should do as a new player. So now let's talk about the other modes here that are available for you after you finish off your sort of new player rewards. So supply operations. This is going to be something that you do some of, and a lot of this can be ignored, to be honest. Dropper creation, you're probably not going to do this ever. This is just for coins. Just do it for the first time, because for the first time clear on completing the level 61, you get like 1 million coins. So it's pretty good, but you'll eventually have so many coins that there's way better things to farm for than coins. Like you'll actually just be wasting eternity if you're farming this. Ride suppression. This sort of gives you miscellaneous leveling rewards. None of this is particularly good because you'll also be getting these rewards just from clearing normal missions, like any other mission. You'll be able to get them. Skill training can be a little bit limited, so maybe, and in some cases, if you're desperate, you can get training data. And same thing with cores. You might want cores like at some point if you're very desperate, but in general, just clear these all for the first time, and then sort of ignore them unless you desperately need them. Military supply acquisition, on the other hand, this is something that you're going to be doing quite often. So, this is going to give you the materials to get gear, and 1-4 is going to be one of the best stages to grind if you have no event that you're grinding at the moment. Because this will drop materials that can be used to craft Tier 5 gear, which is Tier 5, Tier 6, and Tier 7 gear is the strongest in the game. Tier 7 gear, I don't think there's really a reliable way to obtain in Global at the moment. Tier 6 gear is also very hard to come by, so Tier 5 gear is going to be the best thing you're going to have for a while, probably. Investigation activities. This is another thing that you're probably never going to touch after you clear them the first time. Talent recruitment. This is something that you can do if you want to get a specific unit. There are quite a few good units in here, like Sylvia. Sylvia is a very strong unit. If you want to max her out, I would highly recommend doing the stage some, although you'll probably end up getting a fair amount of hers just by recruiting. Other notable units here, Ryan is a decent tank, although probably not worth getting. Evelyn Keller is the best healer in the game, even in Southeast Asia at the moment. She is a very, very good unit. If you don't have her, you should get her. Lin Jian is another very extremely powerful unit, especially in PvE content like Raid and Guild Co-op. Kim Sobin is a very strong PvE unit in Raid as well, because she does very big single target damage. Those are pretty much the best characters that you can farm for here. The other characters are pretty mediocre, to be honest. Covert Ops. These are missions that require a large cost of Eternium. For example, you can see 1,200 here, and you can only access them 3 a day. But they give you some pretty decent rewards. Excuse me. Info might be pretty rare, pretty hard to come by early on. So if you are desperate on info, you can do these first two. This one, if you do three sweeps through small scale Covert Ops version 2, you should get, I think, 2k or so info. The restricted squad Covert Ops, these ones provide ship parts, which if you really need them and have nothing else to farm for, maybe, but you should get enough ship parts elsewhere. Same thing with tuning binaries, you should get enough of them elsewhere if you use them wisely. So, overall, for supply operations, the most important one is military supply acquisition, because this one will give you Tier 5 gear. And this is important because one of your daily missions requires you to clear supply operations 5 times. So most of the time you're going to be doing gutter rat extermination for 5 times for this mission. Simulation. You can enter this 2 times a day, and some of these can be a little bit hard, but most of them are pretty easy, as long as you know what team comps to use. For the first one here, attack training, this is just a pure DPS check. Just bring as much damage as you can, don't really worry about tanks, although you should actually bring a healer or two, because this thing does fight back, just it doesn't hit your ship or anything, and does AoE damage, so a tank isn't going to help. What you need is healers to keep your damage units alive, but with damage units and buffs, you should be able to clear this no problem. Defense training, 5 is probably the hardest one of these. For this one, you want, they're siege units that spawn on this map, so they're going to just run past everything, so a tank is also not necessary here. Although, for characters like Awakened Hilda, they can push away the units that are running towards your ship and buy you some time. So, as you can see here, like, Awakened Hilda's second skill instantly knocks targets in a small range around her in the direction she's facing, so away from the ship. Kyle Wong is also very good here because he will deploy a shield that will draw the aggro of the siege units. And other than that, you just want AoE damage here so that you can just clear everything. AoE damage, stuns, and you should be able to clear it fairly easily. Arguably the easiest one to clear is anti-air training, as long as you know the strats. Because for anti-air training, even if you only have a few units that can shoot air, you should be pretty fine actually. So for example, here's a team that I have a bunch of units that hit air, and I have 2 units that only hit ground. Well, why do you have units that only hit ground? Because these units are tanky. So what you do if you're having trouble on this map is you just enter the battle, you immediately deploy a tanky frontline unit like Nanahara Chifu. So you deploy her, you deploy your ranged units behind her, and you just let her tank the damage. You can also bring Hilda or any other tanky sort of, preferably low-cost unit, because otherwise all these flying units are going to get to your back line and reduce all of your damage, and you'll just get overrun and you can't clear the map. So use a tanky unit that can't even hit air, and you should be able to clear that easy peasy. Side story. So you should clear all these at least once. So you get the quartz reward. The normal missions don't require Eternium to enter, so they're just free quartz. The hard missions, some of these are worth farming, some of these are not. In my opinion, I personally like farming all of them just so I can get the characters maxed out. The ones that are particularly worth farming, well, first off, administration failure. This one's actually harder than Orca, so actually do this one second. The reward for clearing the hard one is Hilda unit data, which Hilda is a very, very strong unit actually, so this is actually pretty good to get. Orca, this is the easiest one that you're meant to do first. You get Eddie Fisher unit data. This is actually a very strong unit as well. He buffs both counters and soldiers, so he's very good in soldier teams. So I would highly recommend getting this guy. Orca, you get a free Orca just for the event going on at the moment for a new player. So you might not want another Orca, but you can also just get the skill data, or get the unit data, so you can get dupes of the character, so you don't have to waste fusion crystals or anything to limit break them. You can just use dupes of the character. It's not like it costs that much Eternium. It's 600 Eternium per day to farm it 3 times. For John Mason, you're probably going to want both of these units. Jane Doe is a decent unit. She's a evasion damage dealer, so she's okay. But John Mason, this unit is actually very good, not in PvP, but in PvE, especially in co-op guild battles. This unit is almost a must-have. You want this guy very, very badly. Make sure you farm this guy. He'll do decent in other content as well, but you really want him for raid and you want him for guild co-op. Crossroads. Here you get Ju Shiyun data. Ju Shiyun is a very solid unit, so this is optional, but if you like Ju Shiyun, go ahead and do it. SWAT 4. Here you get Stronghold, which is not that good of a unit, so you should probably skip this one. Kang Soyoung, however, is an extremely good unit, and very, very good in any soldier team, so you should definitely get her. Make sure you get the 3 unit data, the 3 farms per day on her. New semester, this one gives you unit data for Yujin. Yujin is pretty much not that good of a unit. She's been outclassed, so this one I would advise not farming. Delta 7. This is one that you clear after getting Act 5 done. You can get Jake Walker data. Jake Walker's a decent bruiser unit. He's a good filler unit if you have just extra spaces that need to be taken up. He's okay. If you want the data, go for it. If you don't want the data, leave it. Maria Antonov, however, is a very good unit in especially raid and guild co-op because she provides very, very good buffs and has long-term skills that might not be usable in normal PvE stages, and might be a little bit hard to pull off in PvP. But in longer content, like raid, she shines very well, and so you will want this unit eventually. So, and she's an SSR that you can get for free, so farm her. At the moment, that is every side story in the game, and what you should farm from them. Challenge mode. Just do the highest difficulty of challenge mode as you can, and if you can't do it anymore, just exchange the challenge tickets for challenge medals. You can exchange one for, I think, 20 challenge medals in the shop if you reach a brick wall here until you can clear it. You get one a day, and you can hold up to 10, so make sure you don't get 10 challenge tickets at any given moment. Free contract. Client 1 is kind of hard to clear, but 333, Task 3, Act 3, Mission 3 is very good to farm for gear as well. So you might want to actually get Task 3 done. Event. When in doubt, farm the event until you have the event shop done. There's quite a few events here. These ones, First Lesson, White Rabbit, Type Siegfried, these are all just single mission events that you should just do for the free quartz. Sweet Promotion, however, is an event that has quite a few missions, and one that you can farm for event currency, the Choco Ball. You should always clear the highest difficulty hard stage for events, because that'll provide the most of the event currency. And when should you stop farming the event? Not until you've cleared out the entire shop. The only thing you should not be buying here is credits. Everything else you want to clear out. If you can't clear out everything, then you should prioritize the gear here. This is tier 6 gear. It's very good. Wait, actually, this might be tier 5 gear. Either way, it's good gear. The counter APT cores and core coupons are going to be very important, especially as a new player. Special ship schematics. These are pretty hard to get, and they'll help boost your ship production very well, so make sure you get those as well. The prime training data, you might not need as much, but make sure you still get it. Special appraisals, XP is always nice. Ship components, also always nice. And prime ship material, you should have quite a bit. I have like 196 at the moment, but you do need quite a lot to make a ship, so just get everything. But Circuit Link Exchange Center, this is another thing that is just a different event going on. So farm this until you completely clear the event shop. Okay, the last sort of content in the game at the moment are raid and dive. Raid, whenever raids pop up, you have to spend info to enter the raid, and you can also pay a little bit more info to get buffs on all of your units here. Like you can see, I can get an attack buff, HP buff, skill haste buff. This is probably not worth it, especially on the low-level raids, because as long as you have enough friends, you should be able to clear it just with everyone fighting. And you want a bunch of people participating, because for each person who participates, each person will get a reward. And there's some very good gear that drops here. You will also see, if you have friends or consortium members, you will also see their raid request pop up under exploration status. You can see exploration status, this is what you have on the field. Support request, this is where you can have other people request your support. You just click support here, and you can help them out. Now, when you support people, you can go to participation history and find all the people that you've helped out. Make sure that you complete all here so you can actually get the rewards for helping them out after the raid is done. You can see here I got tier 4 gear, pretty decent stuff, and some superconductive tokens which are used in the shop. As you clear these as well, both support and do your own, you will progress the plaque exchange line here, this line here. This will reset eventually. As you can see here, it resets on June 23rd, and you get a bunch of rewards here. For example, more of the actually here you can get tier 7 gear, so yeah, make sure you do this. And you can also get superconductive tokens, which are used in the exchange center for other good gear. Although it's not in the game at the moment, so just stockpile these until the shop's actually full. Dive. Dive is where you're going to start needing, aside from contracts, dive is the other place where you're going to need more than one squad. As you can see, once you get down to, if I go over to my SEA account, eventually you'll need 5 or so units, or 5 or so different teams for your dives. Once you get to lower level dives like 38, here you see I need 4. For like level 105 dives, you'll need up to 5 teams, and you'll definitely make sure you want multiple teams raised for this. Now, as for actually clearing dives, you should be able to enter. Well, both my teams are on the other battle, so we'll just go to my SEA account. You'll be able to enter with the various teams, and you'll have support order based on the teams. So for each ship that you have, let's just go through this. You'll have different things that you can select here. You'll have Gauntlet, Rearm, and there's one more that's red, and each one will provide, there's different types of battles, and they will provide you different rewards. So a unit, this is just a common or a rare unit, so nothing here is particularly good. The main reward is from actually clearing the entire dive. If you have the ones that have the strong enemy artifact guaranteed, these are the ones that you should be clearing first, because they'll provide artifacts that will buff your team for the rest of the dive. And you can also sell them after the dive is over for a little bit of coin. Each ship here has 2 ammunition, just like in Contract in multi-stage missions. So you can only use each ship twice. So keep your ship order. Make sure you do your ships in the correct order. So let's just bring in the soldier team for now. You will see that you will have a support unit here. The support unit is based off the first unit in your first ship that you have selected. Once you use one support unit, the next unit from the next ship will become the new support unit. That'll charge up until you can use it. So make sure that it won't matter much for the early dives, but once you hit dive level about 46 to 50, it will matter a lot, because those units, you have to act like they're basically just part of your main team as well. So the order of shifts that you have is actually quite important for later content. For early content, you should be able to just beat it pretty easily. So as you can see, cleared this, I'll get a unit reward and also get a artifact. So you can pick one of these and it'll last for the rest of the run, and when the run's over, you'll get 10k coins. So it's a little bonus, but the main thing here you'll want is the stat bonus from this. And as you clear dives as well, you'll have dives on the main map that spawn as well. As you clear those, you will get resources for this shop here, which will allow you to buy ship components. So you want to clear these so you can get your ships up and running. And actually, I can show you the raid currency here as well. Where is it? What am I looking for? Anyways, oh, I know why I'm being stupid. It's because it's in the workshop. So you use your raid tokens here to get weapon molds for high tier gear. So this is where you use them. Alright, so speaking of gear, let's talk about gear, how to get it, and what to take, what to keep, what to get rid of, if you should upgrade gear, how much you should upgrade gear, so on and so forth. So to get gear, as said previously, you can get gear from both free contract, and you're probably mostly going to be getting it from Gutter Rat Extinction 4, and you'll also be getting it from Raid. You can access your gear from the storage section here. There's 3 types of gear. There's armor, weapons, and accessories. That is not an accessory. Okay, there's weapons, armor, and accessory. Each unit can have 1 weapon, 1 armor, and 2 accessories equipped. You get your second accessory equipped after you limit break a unit to max to it's like how long here you can see I can equip 4 equipments. As for equipments, you're going to want to generally equip your highest level equipment, highest tier equipment, but there are some exceptions. For example, certain gear sets can be pretty hard to obtain, and those are attack speed, because attack speed sets require 4 weapon slots, so you want to keep on to even your lower level tier gear, like tier 4, tier 3 gear, if it has attack speed, because this can be a hard set to come across and make a full set out of. The other set that you want to keep hold of is cooldown. This is a set that a lot of units will want, and it's a 4 set for the set completion, for equipments for the set completion, so just keep the lower level gear. Now, how should you upgrade gear? You should only upgrade gear to to level 5. After that, it becomes too expensive, unless it's tier 7 gear. Because tier 7 gear is going to be the best gear in the game, so if you have some god tier gear that you want to get to max level, go for it. But for most general use gear, just get it to level 5 and then stop there, because it becomes very hard to upgrade the gear. It will require a lot of stuff to upgrade gear after that point. You will also have, right in the battle. You will also have, let me just go to a random piece of gear. You will also be able to tune gear. So enhanced gear, you can just press auto select. You'll have, it'll just put generally low tier gear in there, or you'll have these things that you get over time, which will just, they're meant to just be fed to gear. Gear tuning, you can use the purple tuning binaries to upgrade the substats. Only do this for good substats on weapons that you plan on using in the future, because while this isn't that hard of a resource to come by, you don't want to be just using it willy-nilly. So use it on your high tier gear that you're planning on using in the future. That is from a good set. Now, change options. You can also change your substats using the purple tuning binary. So if you have a good gear that's like tier 6 that has a good substat but one bad substat, you can try to change the gear substat here. Change set option. This is how you make a bad piece of gear into a good piece of gear. If you have a bad weapon set, you can change it to a good weapon set. It requires set binaries, which are extremely hard to come by. This is one of the most valuable resources in the game. So do this only if it's like high tier gear, tier 7, tier 6 gear, that you know you're going to be using for a very long time, and you know it has good substats, and you know you want to put it on a unit. Don't use this if it's not a good gear, because you will be down like literally like weeks of progress if you're wasting this. Don't you dare even look at this page if it's like tier 3, tier 4 crap gear. Don't touch it. With gear out of the way, we can talk about ships, what ships you should get, and how to manage ships. So, after you clear dives, you will get ship materials such as ship components like high elasticity armor, and you'll also get Rearm propellants and just normal gears. Each ship can be remodeled up to 6 stars. After your first star upgrade, your first remodel, you'll get an active skill, second active skill, and for each one after that, you'll get bonus stats as well as 1 extra DP when you use the ship. So when you start the mission, you'll have more DP to use to deploy units. So you want to have your ships at max level. So focus on upgrading your ships first. Now, as a new player, you'll get a ship selector for either the Gleipnir or the Abraham. Use the Gleipnir. The Gleipnir is a very, very strong ship because, as you can see here, its passive skill, it remarkably increases attack for ally counters on the field. You're going to be mostly using counters, especially through your main story at the beginning, so get this, enjoy it. This thing will carry you through the main story. Other ships that you're going to need that are common, you're going to need the Normandy, because this ship has a very good movement range. It can move 2 tiles in front of it, and like you see here. So you're going to need the ship to clear some contracts and multi-battle missions effectively. You can upgrade this fairly well as well. Since it's a common ship, you will be able to upgrade it for very cheap. The Raisin Griff, you get the ship for free. It's a pretty bad ship, but it is decent in one content that'll be added later, so you can just keep it around. The Coffin, the ship is actually awful. Don't use this unless you have to. Stellar, this is a ship you're going to want to craft as well, because it has another, just like the Normandy, it has a very good movement range, where you can move in each tile around it, as well as 1 extra tile diagonal to the ship. So you're going to want this ship as well. It also has a pretty good passive skill, increases attack speed for ally units on the field. That's why you want this ship over another ship with a similar movement pattern called the Rangerous. This ship only provides debuff resistance rate and speed for ally defenders and siege units. If that doesn't sound niche to you, it's niche. Don't use this ship. This ship bad. So after you get those ships, what ships should you be working towards? Well, you should start working towards your SSR ships, and your first SSR ship should be the Enterprise. This is going to be the best PvE ship in the game for a very, very long time. Even in SEA, after 1 year, this is the best PvE general use ship in the game. You want this, love it. It remarkably increases attack and hit for ally counters and mechs on the field, so everything except for soldiers, this is going to be very, very good for. And it also has some pretty good actives as well. So get this, love it. You should be able to get it pretty quickly. After Enterprise, you should get Lake Superior. This is going to be a very good ship for both PvP and PvE. It is for tankiness. Tankiness isn't necessarily as important in PvE, especially early on, because things are more tanky than what you're gonna like. Things are more tanky, so you need more damage, and they're not doing enough damage to justify you needing more tank stats. But in PvP, you're going to want these tank stats, this extra 12% sort of defense, very badly. And it's also good for other PvE content later on. This is a very good ship that you're going to want second. After you get Lake Superior, Kamizumi is another very, very good ship for raids and PvE content because it increases crit and crit damage, and it'll buff your units quite a lot for raid. So this is going to be the third ship you're going to want. After that, probably New Ohio is going to be the next ship you want. But that should keep you occupied for probably like 6 months getting those 3 ships. So the ship's out of the way. Oh, one more thing in the HQ. Those are dorms. This is just a little thing here. You can just come here, accept all business cards, send out all business cards once a day, and you're done here. You can also do company dinner. You get one of these per day. You can hold up to 3 at a time. Just use it once a day. It gives you a little bit of info and raises your affinity on your units. So just do that once a day. Check there once a day and then forget about it. Now, management. Here you can see all of your units. If you click on one, you can see loyalty. You can see if they have any skins. You can practice, which means that you go in, you can see like how their damage is looking with their gear, what their abilities look like, all that. You can check their dialogue, and you can also do salary negotiations, limit break from here, skill training. You can do all that from here. You can also see loyalty. Loyalty, if you reach max loyalty after using it for a long time, you will be able to enter a lifetime contract. Contracts are pretty hard to come by, so make sure you do this only for sure you're going to use the unit for a while, like if they're waifu or something, and it'll give you a small stat boost. Now, what units should you keep hold of and what units should you get rid of? Keep all your SSRs and all your SRs because you're going to need them later. You're going to need your SSRs to limit break your other SSRs of the same type, your other dupes. So if you look at limit break here, you'll see for Seoyun, I can limit break her up to, as I have her at 3 stars, I can limit break her up to a 5th star here. And I can use cores to do this. Cores you'll get over time. You're going to be pretty low on these at the beginning, but eventually you'll have more than you know what to do with. So use your cores for your early limit breaks. However, once you reach max stars, like Gayun here, you can still limit break. You'll get 2 levels for each limit break, up to level 110. However, now it costs fusion cores. These are very, very valuable. Make sure you use them carefully. They are pretty hard to come by. You have to either craft them out of other cores, or you can buy them once a week from the consortium shop and a few other shops. So look out for these. These are very careful. Be very careful with how you use these because they are very limited. However, you can reduce the cost if you have a duplicate character. Like so make sure you hold on to your SRs and SSRs for that. For your Rs, your uncommon units, you're gonna end up getting so many of them because you can farm them from stages. You can also just get them, like, just a bunch of them from recruitment, and so you're gonna have more of these than you know what to do with. And so you can just limit break them with dupes for all the limit breaks, and you can do that and actually get them very, very high. So you can see, like, Irie Alfred, I could get her to level 110 if I want, because I've had so many dupes of her that I was able to get her up to max limit break. And so that's why our units can actually be very good, because you can get them very high level very quickly. Now, eventually you're going to run out of inventory space, because you can only have 200 base, and after that you will get, you can expand it or either delete units. I would recommend expanding it to maybe 300, or maybe even 400 eventually, but after that there's not really much point to expanding it, because you're only going to be keeping a few dupes at a time, and you should be sort of deleting units as you get them if you're not going to use them. So just keep your SRs and SSRs, and there's not that many units in the game. There's only maybe, like, I don't even know how many. It's probably less than 100 units in the game. And so even if you keep one copy of each unit, you should still have, like, at least 50 to 100 space left over to just have fodder and dupes. But you might want to expand a little bit so that you can hold more stuff in the future. But when it actually comes time to clear out your space, you should go to the delete button down there and just delete your R units that you have extra dupes of that you've already limit breaked to 110. Some of these you'll notice say contract obtained, some of these do not. Contract obtained means that you got them from recruitment, and if you were to get rid of them, you'll get more ownerless business cards. And so you want to delete these more than you want to delete your normal ones. So if you're, like, limit breaking a unit and you have contract obtained on some and not contract obtained on the other ones, use the ones that aren't contract obtained first. Other than that, you just want to delete pretty much all the R units that you're not going to use, and you'll get owns business cards, which are very important because there's a shop which provides very, very good stuff from them. So make sure you're actually actively deleting your units. It'll both clear up space and give you some money and ownerless business cards for use that you'll want a lot. So now we talked about management and units. How do you actually get units? Well, recruit and from clearing missions. There's 3 types of recruitment: classified recruitment, normal recruitment, and operator recruitment. Be very careful with classified recruitment. At the moment, there is 1 free recruit on Awakened Tilda per day. In future Awakened banners, there will be no such thing. You'll just have to pull for it yourself. So the only time you should be pulling on an SSR or an Awakened SSR unit is if you really want the unit. And because these classified employment contracts are very hard to get. You only get 4 per day from your daily missions, from clearing 5 supply missions. You can get a pack of 220, which is 11 pulls per week for 2,700 quartz, which you should get every single week as soon as it's restocked. And you can get a few more from the Gauntlet shop, but it's very, very limited, so pull for an Awakened unit only if you want them, if you know you want them. The good thing about Awakened units is you'll see a 7 out of 150 to ensured recruitment. You have a pity on them of 150 pulls, and if you don't pull a unit, and you've spent pulls and you don't actually get the Awakened unit, the pity will pull over to the next banner. So the next banner is going to be Yumina, Awakened Yumina. So if I have 7 out of 150 ensured recruitment on a Hilda, when Awakened Yumina comes out, I will still have 7 out of 150 recruited ensured recruitment. So I'll only need 143 pulls to actually get that. So eventually you are guaranteed an Awakened unit. Normal recruitment. Currently there's an event for 10 free pulls a day. This happens every now and then, especially when there's anniversaries. Like, it's probably going to happen again when there's the 100-day anniversary, like half-year anniversary, stuff like that. So just get these every day. You will also get a free recruit every day from Recruit on Demand. Do this every single day, and then never look at this again. Never touch Recruit on Demand. This is a waste of your valuable employment contracts, because it will just have every unit at the same probability. What you do want to recruit through is through the banners. As you can see here, there's banners for Karen Wong, Rosaria, Liumi, and White Rabbit at the moment. This is Yang Harim. Each banner here has 150 pulls to pity, And so you want all of your stuff to go towards the unit that you want here, because this unit has an improved probability, 1% probability, as opposed to if there's no rate up, it'll just be like 0.1% probability. So you always want to recruit off a actual banner. And you also have a chance to get whatever random unit off this banner as well, because there's 3.5% chance to get an SSR, and only 1% chance to get the banner SSR. So you'll be getting other SSRs from here eventually, as you pull as well. So make sure you're only pulling from these banners. Recruit through partners. So if you have friends, you support units, you will get these partners business cards. You just use them here, and it will give you a bunch of sort of fodder units that you can then sell. You have a small chance to get an SR here, so just do it when you have it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Operator recruitment. Do not touch this if you are free to play. This is not going to be nearly as important as actual normal recruitment, so if you're free to play, do not buy from here. You'll also see next to your blue employment contracts, task planner points. For each pull you do, you get 10 task planner points. And once you reach 3,000, ignore the shop. Do not buy anything from the shop. Once you reach 3,000, you will get you'll be able to buy an operator of your type, an SSR operator of your desire, for 3,000. So save them until you get them. At the moment, there's Lena McKenzie, who's the best operator at the moment, but since we know that there's going to be another operator that is actually a little bit better coming soon, you should actually save your task planet points until the operator Kim Hana comes out. This is going to be the best operator for general use in the game, and she's coming, I believe, next month for global. So save your task planet points for her. Okay, with that out of the way, now we can talk about shop. So, actually before that happens, for dispatch missions, world map, so obviously you do your raids, but you'll also be doing dispatch missions. There's 3 types of dispatch missions. 1 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour. Which one you should do depends on how much time you have and how dedicated you are. If you only want to log in to the game every 4 hours or whatever, then just do the 4 hour one. If you're going to work or going to sleep, do the 8 hour one. However, if you are at your computer and you want to log in every 40 minutes or whatever, then do the 1 hour one, because it'll refresh the dispatch missions, and you can get one with a much better outcome. For example, here you can get, if I get a great success on this deployment mission, I will be able to get an employment contract, which is very, very good. So you'll be able to get things that you desire a lot more than just like high appraisals, which you'll be able to get a ton of. Your priority here should be first employment contracts. If a mission with employment contracts pop up, take it, no questions asked. After that, the second best is going to be SAPTs, core boxes, because this is going to give you APT cores, which are pretty dang good. After that, there'll also be one that pop up that'll give you like 20 to 50 quartz. I think it's like 20, 40, or 60 quartz. Do those if those pop up, so you can just get a little bit extra quartz. Another one that'll pop up every now and then is one that'll give you fusion core fragments. So if you go to crafting here, you'll be able to see that I can craft fusion cores from fusion core fragments. If this pops up, take this as well. So that's sort of your priority for dispatch missions. If those pop up, take those resources. Otherwise, do the 1 hour one. Or if you're you're not going to be able to log in, or if you don't really care, which is fine as well, then just do the longer ones so you can spend more time away from the game. Alright, so shop. Here is the coin shop. You should be buying pretty much everything here every single day, because you will have a bunch of coins, and everything here is very cheap. Don't buy things for quartz here, though, unless it is either a blue recruitment ticket, or a classified recruitment ticket. Buy those. Don't buy anything else from here. There's also the option to refresh it. You can refresh 5 times a day. You should probably do this, because as a free-to-play player, you will have enough quartz to both buy the 2,700 quartz classified recruitment contract at the beginning of each week, and then you'll also be able to spend 75 quartz a day for refreshing the shop. And as you see, if refreshing the shop, you'll get a bunch of new stuff. You also have the chance to get more blue tickets from here as well. So see, I got some ship materials, which is very good as well. Hopefully you're looking for stuff like blue recruitment tickets. It is RNG, but there's a pretty good chance that you get blue recruitment tickets. Oh, right. So I got a little bit unlucky here. I didn't get any recruitment tickets, but if you do find them, you should get them. Also, just buy out all the coin stuff. Below that, you'll see resources. You can get Eternium for quartz. This is not really worth it. As a new player, there's not that much good to farm, and you'll be getting plenty of Eternium already. So don't really buy this. After you buy the 5 for 50 quartz, you'll eventually have it'll eventually be 75 quartz, and then after you buy those 5, it'll be 100 quartz. If you are going to buy this, only buy the 50 quartz. Convenience goods, ignore this. All this is crap. Emotes, don't buy this for free to play. Background, these are coins. Buy them if you want them. Planet Mall, only buy operators here. Don't buy anything else. Dive, buy what ship materials you need. You're probably going to be low on special ship schematics, and you might also be low on whatever ship material you need for your specific ship. Challenge. This is where you can exchange your challenge medals for challenge points. Only do that if you're like at 10 and you know you're not going to be able to clear the mission, so that you can just get some passive challenge medals. Don't buy the creditor info, and also don't buy the challenge ticket for 100 quartz. You cannot farm the challenge missions. You clear them once and then you're done with them, so you will run out of them. If you buy this, you're just doing it, you're just reaching the end quicker, and there's still going to be an end. Now, what you do want to buy here is you want to be buying this tier 6 gear and these set binaries. This tier 6 gear, the maze gear, is very, very good gear. Buy it. Unit data. None of these units are particularly worth buying the data for, so I would advise not buying this. Consortium. Buy the fusion core each week. You get this currency from checking into your guild and from donating to your guild. You only donate coins to your guild. Buy the fusion core each week. If you have some left over, get the gold set binaries. Business cards. When you get rid of your blue employees, you'll get the ownerless business cards for this shop. And you should just buy everything that has a limited, that has a timer on it. Like weekly, you can get 1 lifetime contract a month, buy that once a month. The 10 APT core coupons, you can buy a few of those every week. Buy those every week. And buy the fusion cores and the other APT cores every week. The rest of this, if you have extra ownerless business cards, the next best thing you can probably get here is the tier 6 enhancement module for getting good gear. But as a new player, you should really probably be content with just getting the lifetime contract, APT cores, and fusion core. So that's what you should do if you are a free-to-play shop user. Now, let's talk about the future content. So, we already have a roadmap for May, June, and July, August. So May is already passed. This is all stuff we have in the game at the moment. So for June, we have Danger Close. Danger Close is a boss mission that you will try to get the most damage on the boss as possible. And as you beat the boss, as you do more damage, you will be able to get this exchange gear, which you can then exchange for tier 6 gear. So it's a little boss mode that will get you some good gear. You can do these like 3 a day, and these are different bosses rotate in and out, so make sure you do these. We will get a new Awakened unit, Yumina Fenrir type. I would advise to not pull for this unit. So, for Awakened units that are coming out, we currently have Awakened Tilda. I should probably, hold on. We currently have Awakened Tilda. The next one we're going to get is Awakened Yumina. What she is basically just a pure DPS unit for PvP. Why can't I find her? Here she is. She is a pure DPS unit for PvP. You drop her in, she does a ton of damage, she's very squishy. She's gonna dominate PvP for a few weeks probably, but then she'll get banned after the second week because everyone's gonna be using her, and eventually she'll fall off in the meta. And for PvE, there are far better units to get later on, so I would highly advise skipping Awakened Yumina. Operator Kimhana, that is the operator that I was talking about before. Save your 3,000 task planet points for Kimhana, you will want her. New unit recruitment, Sigma and Adel Meitner. Sigma and Adel Meitner are both very good units. I'd advise taking Sigma first, because Sigma is very, very good for most PvE content and pretty decent PvP content as well. She excels in Raid, Consortium Co-op, and as well as just some hard PvP missions as well, or PvE missions later on as well. PvP she's okay, but she has some very good skills which will increase allies' roll disadvantage, damage resistance, and restore deployment points. So you want this unit quite a lot. This is going to be probably the most important unit coming out next month. Now, Adel Meitner is going to be a sniper who is very, very good in PvE and pretty solid in PvP as well. She also has one of the best skins in the game. If you have extra pulls for her, I think that she's a very good pull. If you don't want to go for her, then don't go for her. Counterpass Regina McCready. She is an okay unit. Regina is going to be used in some PvE content later on. She's going to be used in some PvE content later on. She's not really used that much in PvP. She's mostly a unit for countering mechs. As you can see, these values are doubled for mechs. So she's an anti-mech unit. She's good in certain PvE content and good in certain PvP metas, but I think that if you're buying the Counterpass, then get her. Once she gets on the standard banner after the Counterpass is done, then she is an okay pull, but there's probably going to be better units to look for. Left Behind Alone event episode, that's going to be, I think, for Awakened Yumina, and Old Fear, which is going to be the event for... Oh wait, Left Behind Alone is for Sigma. Old Fear is going to be the event for Adel. So, that's June. For July, August, there's going to be Shadow Palaces. Shadow Palaces is another late game PvE content. For Shadow Palace, you're going to have some entry tickets each day, Quantum Quartz Crystal. You get one each day. You can have up to 7 at a time, and you'll have these various consecutive missions that you'll have to clear, and you try to get your highest time possible. As you clear these, you will get shadow fragments, which can also be exchanged for high-level gear. So that'll be another way to get good gear later on. There will also be Future Strategy Department Sigma Operator. Probably don't worry about her. New unit recruitment, Serapel, Alex, and Harab. Serapel is going to be one of the best tanks in the game. She's going to be one of the best tanks in the game. She's extremely durable, has a lot of good support for her, a lot of good support utility abilities as well. So she's probably worth pulling for. On the other hand, Harab and Alex are things that you should not worry about unless you throw their waifu or something. Harab is a very limited use unit. She's a pretty niche unit. And Alex... Where's Alex? Alex, she's okay. Not worth pulling for. Counterpass Lyudmila. Lyudmila is a very solid flying sniper. She's definitely worth getting. If you're not paying for the counter pass, then she'll be on a banner after the counter pass, and she's worth getting. Great Witch's Legacy, which is going to be the event and the awakened unit for Una Springfield, Awakened Una Springfield, who is a very extremely powerful Awakened unit that should be the first Awakened unit that you actually pull for. She is very, very good in early endgame content. She's gonna excel in PvP. She's gonna carry you through all the PvE content in the game. Get her, love her, enjoy her. There's also going to be End of the Maze event episode, which is just going to be a little event and 50 days event. For August, we're going to get episode 6 of the main story, which is going to be new story content, some lore stuff, pretty good stuff. A consortium co-op battle, which is going to be make guilds a lot more important. Awakened units, 6 wings, Na Yu Bin. Na Yu Bin is going to be a very, very good unit for PvP. He's going to dominate PvP completely at launch. He's an evasion tank, and he will wreck everyone in PvP for a while. In PvE, he's not going to be that good initially, but now in SEA and some KR maps, some KR PvE content, he's found a lot of use. So he's definitely worth pulling for if you have the resources for him. If you don't have the resources for him and you don't care about PvP, he might be a skip for now. Maybe try to pick him up later. Operator Maneka, we won't care about that. New unit recruitment: Ifrit, Estak, Nael, and Mika Star. So this is where we get some of the good mechs. Ifrit is an insane unit, even in teams that aren't mech teams, because he is extremely powerful. There's a hidden stat in this game called MDR, Max Damage Reduction, and every unit in the game that is an SSR, and some of the PvE and some bosses as well will have MDR, where if they take more than 10% of their damage in one hit, then after that 10%, the damage will gradually get reduced, so you can't one-shot units. Ifrit gets around that though, because he has 4 guns that shoot very, very quickly, and so he's just peppering his enemy with bullets until they die, and this actually makes it so that he has a lot of DPS. So you definitely are going to want to pull for Ifrit. Estak, on the other hand, this unit is pretty bad. Easy skip in my opinion. He's a decent sniper in PvE content. In PvP, he's too hard to use. If you like mechs and you for some reason want this really badly, then go for it, but I would highly advise skipping this. The other ones that are going to be coming out are going to be Nael Blue Steel. If she's waifu, pull for her, otherwise she's a pretty easy skip in my opinion. She's mediocre in both PvE and PvP. Also, there's going to be Mika Star, who is also going to be an easy skip in my opinion, unless she's waifu. The counterpass is going to be Edith Twins, which is actually a completely useless unit. The only point of this unit is being cute. If there's any month that if you're buying the counterpass, if there's any month that you want to skip, it should be this month, unless you really like this unit for waifu status. Otherwise, she's going to do absolutely nothing for you for both PvE and PvP content. This is going to be Relic Challenge, item upgrades. So Relic Challenge is going to be some endgame PvP, or not endgame PvP, endgame PvE content, which is going to provide you with tier 7 gear. It's going to be some of the hardest content in the game. It will crush your soul, so enjoy farming for your tier 7 gear there. We will have Summer Destiny event episode and skin. That's going to be the summer event with all the swimsuits. There's some very, very attractive skins on there if you want to buy those. Some more events, and the PC client on Steam will also be coming out in August. And also a 100 days event, which will give you a bunch of good rewards, hopefully. And so that's what it's looking like in the immediate future. There's also going to be other banners as well, because those are just the new units coming out. So the other banners that are probably going to be coming out in the meantime, because there's going to be probably 2 new banners per week. As you can see this week, well, we didn't get any new units. It's the first week, at the time of recording, it's the first week of June, and we didn't get either Sigma or Edelmeitner. So instead we got, once again, wrong thing. Once again, we got Lee Yumi, and we got White Rabbit, we got Yang Harem. And so these are both units that are already in the game, and so I'd imagine that in the future as well, that since we're not dropping all the new units at once, we should also probably be getting a banner for the administration units, Administration Rifleman, Shieldman, and the Swordsman. That is a decent banner to pull if you don't have Administration Rifleman. As for these banners, which ones you should recruit from, your first priority should be Yang Harim. She's the best supporter in the game overall, even after a year in SEA. She is a very, very good supporter. After that, Rosaria Lafried is going to be one of the best DPS units for a very long time in both PvE and PvP. She has immunity for a few seconds after entering the battlefield, so she can get off her damage and then safely die. Die happy that she killed your entire enemy team. She will eventually get a little bit power crept in PvP, but in PvE she is always going to be good. Karen Wong is a sniper that is focused on air units. This is a hard skip in my opinion unless she's waifu. Because she just doesn't have enough going for her that other units don't have that would justify pulling for her. Lee Yu-Mi is probably the best evasion tank in the game for SSR, but she's not worth pulling for because especially if you have Awakened Hilda, that should be the only tank you'll need for early game. Later game, you'll probably just pull her from some random banner on accident, and then you'll build her, enjoy her. But for now, probably skip her. So, now, that's all the stuff that you need to know as a free-to-play player. Now for Wales, if you want to spend money on this game, if you've been playing for a significant period of time and you said, oh, I like this game, I want to spend money on it, what should you buy from the shop? TLDR, the only thing you should probably ever buy is the 30-day supply contract. This is the best value in the game. If you log in for 30 days, you get a lot of admin coins, which you can use on skins, you can use on anything else you want, the counter pass. And what you should use for those admin coins, the best use for admin coins, the best thing to buy in the game in general, is the special plan for the counter pass for 2,170 admin coins. That you get 3,200 for the $13 subscription, so you have more than enough to get this, and this is the best value in the game. Now, for the more in-depth answer to that question, the best options to buy in the game are the 30-day contract followed by the 18-day contract. You get, for the 30-day contract, 3,200 admin coins in total. For the 18-day contract, you get 1,180, which is a little bit less value, but both very, very good deals. So if you want to buy anything, this should be what you buy. There's also a subscription for Eternium. This is a pretty decent value. It gives you some quartz immediately, as well as 90,000 Eternium over the course of the month, which is quite a lot of Eternium, so this is also a very good deal. As for everything else, admin coin, don't buy this. There's better ways to get it, namely the admin coin subscription, but don't buy this. Don't buy any of this. Quartz, probably should not buy quartz, because you'll get quartz through both your you'll get quartz through other packs that you buy if you're a whale, because you'll get quartz from the counter pass, you'll get quartz from other packages as well if you buy those. The activity pledge, this is available for 19 days. If you want to buy this, it is a little bit better value than normal. It's 1950 admin coins. The ratio of admin coins to quartz is normally 1 admin coin is worth 2 quartz. So if you, this one, it ends up being about 2.8 quartz, I believe, or 2.4 quartz per admin coin. So it's a good deal. Probably not that worth it though, because there's better things in the game to get than quartz. New user packages. This is actually also the best deals in the game. So the best deal in the game at the moment is this, $349. You get 1 employment contract daily, so you get 10 employment contracts, 10 pulls over the course of 10 days, 2,000 quartz, 200 over 10 days, and 250 quartz immediately. So you get 2,250 quartz and 10 employment contracts, as well as some other bonuses for 350. This is the best deal in the game, followed by the $1 deal, which gives you a 10 pull and 80 quartz. The rest of these are crap, because here you get quartz and you get a bunch of stuff that you will be swimming in later on. Never buy stuff if it has special appraisals and if it has appraisals, credits, stuff like that, because you'll have a bunch of it anyways. This stuff is all way worse value, and especially do not even touch this. This is tier 5 gear. We already have tier 7 gear in the game. This is crap. Don't touch this. Starter packages. These are also kind of mediocre. This one is probably the best starter package, Volume 1. You get a random SSR, which is okay. SSR and a bunch of other random units, and 660 admin coins and a little bit of coin. But the probably the best one here is actually package 2. It's kind of debatable, actually. This one you get to choose exactly which unit you want, and you get some Eternium as well. So this one's probably the best value. This ship one, don't worry about ships. You'll have plenty of them if you play consistently. Now, when you clear each map, each stage of the story, you'll get a breakthrough package for 2 weeks. These are mostly crap. I mean, they're okay. But as you can see, as I said previously, the ratio for admin coin to quartz is 1 to 2. These are okay value because you're getting a little bit more than 1 quartz per admin coin, but you're also getting a lot of Eternium. In general, though, I'd say these aren't worth it because there's better ways to spend your admin coins. This is the ultimate scam in the game. Do not buy classified unit tickets with admin coins. It is an extremely bad ratio of admin coins to tickets, especially considering you can get 220 for 2,700 per week of quartz. So don't touch this unless you are a giga whale and you don't care what you're buying, as long as you're buying something. Launch events. These ones are actually pretty bad. For 3,200 quartz, remember you can spend $13 and get the same amount from the subscription. The only thing you're getting here, as opposed to the subscription for like $35 more, is 20 pulls, a bunch of basic training data that you'll have a ton of anyways, and some cores that you'll have a ton of anyways in the future. Don't touch these. Now these are actually very good value. The company growth packages. This one, it gives you a selector for a unit that you want, whatever unit you want from here. The best ones are going to be Nanahara Chifu, Xiaolin, and Yangharim. Actually, Yangharim is number 1, Nanahara Chifu, and then Gayun, and then Xiaolin. That's probably the priority here. You also get a bunch of quartz and a 10 pull, so this is pretty good value, actually. This one is also very good value. You get 30 fusion cores, which is quite a lot, as well as a lot of quartz, and this is one of the few times that you can actually get a good deal on classified employment contracts. This one is probably the best deal out of these 3. This one here as well, you get a lot of quartz, you get a bunch of tier 5 gear, which is okay, but eventually, as I said, we already have tier 7 gear, tier 6 gear in the game, so this is not that great. 80 set binaries is actually a lot. Set binaries are pretty hard to come by, so that's very good, and fusion cores are also very good. This one is probably the second best value, although it's also the most expensive. So if I were to buy any of these, I'd say B number 1 and A number 2, and then if you really want to, I guess you can get this one. If you are going to get the third one, you don't even get the rewards until you hit level 47, and you don't get all of them until level 55. So if you are playing for that long, you probably know if you like the game or not, and you can decide to buy this from then. Don't buy this immediately. If you spend any money in the game, even if you just buy the 99 cents pack, you will get a Shinjia unit for free. She's pretty decent, so it's a nice little bonus reward. Now the permanent packages, these are not good if you are just a light spender. The fusion cores are okay, but everything else here, not that good. Classified recruitment packages, do not buy these. As you can see here, for 980 admin coins, you only get 90 pulls. That's 90 employment contracts. That's only 4 pulls. Do not buy these. They are bad deals. Gear. Generally, you should not touch this. Although, if you are a giga whale who cares about PvP, then set binaries are good. custom packages. You can make whatever you want out of this. And there's some pretty good stuff here, but I would generally say that you have better deals elsewhere. And that is it for for shop for whaling. So if you're a whale, that is what you should buy if you want to buy anything. Now, I would like to take a moment to go through every unit in the game and go through whether they are bad or good starting with SSRs or not, so you can know what unit you want to raise starting out. So, starting with SSRs, going just down the list, Seiyun. If you get this character from a poll or something, use her. She's actually very good in PvE. In PvP, she is god-awful, but in PvE, she's one of the best units in the game, actually, because she has an attack buff for your entire squad, so she's going to be very good in PvE content where you need to push damage very quickly. Xiaolin, another extremely good unit. She currently has a refit in SEA, which makes her even more strong. She's one of the best snipers in the game at the moment, actually probably the best sniper in the game. So if you get her, love her, she's very good. And also on the topic of rearms, another reason why you should keep your purple and SSR, your SR and SSR units is because you'll eventually need to use them for rearms, because rearms are going to take a currency called unit data. Not unit data. Prime data. Prime rearmament data, or just rearmament data. You get this from recycling a bunch of purple and gold units. So you want to save your units for this, because rearms are going to be coming probably within 6 months, and you want to save your units so you can recycle them into unit data there. Anyways, moving on. Orca. You can get this unit for free, so enjoy her for that. She's a decent unit. She does a lot of damage, although there's probably better options to her. But if you want a good filler unit for one of your extra squads, go ahead and build her. She's pretty decent, and you can get her for free. Stronghold. This is the quote-unquote tanky soldier, although there's a better tanky soldier, and he's SR. So if you have this guy, probably better off ignoring him. Terminator. This unit's actually pretty dang good, because he has a defense break. This makes him very good in PvE content where you need to push damage, especially raid and consortium co-op. Outside of that, PvP, he's too squishy and doesn't provide enough to be good. But in PvE content, if you have this guy, use him, love him. He's very good. Titan. This is probably the best mech in the game at the moment, and he's going to dominate PvP for a little bit. In PvE, he's going to be usable for a while, but there's better options unless you're building a mech team. I have this guy in SEA. I love him. I love mechs. But he's not a unit I'd recommend going for if you have a ticket or something to get him. But if you do end up pulling him, you can invest in him and enjoy him quite a bit. He does become pretty good. Maria Antonov, this is a unit you get for free, so and she's very good. I talked about her earlier. Use her in raid. She's good. Don't build her immediately as a new player because you won't have much use out of her, but once you reach endgame where you have a few good teams, then Maria Antonov is going to be very good to invest in. Another problem with her is that she needs very good gear. She wants a lot of cooldown gear, so she can use her skills a lot, but you won't have much of that as a new player, so build her later on and enjoy her then. Kyle Wong, this is the unit that carried me through SEA. He's very good, especially at the moment. He has a shield that drops another shield, so he gets 2 shields that will draw aggro. He does % health damage, so he's going to be very good against units like Awakened Hilda, and very good against tanks. And he's a really strong damage dealer overall. He's going to get a little bit outscaled in the future, but for now he is a very good unit, and I would highly recommend building him. Even in the future, he's still going to be a very good unit, just as other options. So if you get him, build him, but don't try to pull for him if he's on a ban or something. It's probably better off skipping him. But if you get him, use him. He's very good. ATL-1 Lincoln. This unit's crap. Ignore it. ATF-35 Thunderbolt. This unit is pretty bad in PvE and only good in PvP in certain sort of niche comps that are a little bit cheesy, because this unit only hits air units, and it is an air unit itself, so it's kind of hard to hit, but it also hits units that are hard to hit. But what people use this for in PvP is they deploy it and it runs immediately to the enemy ship and starts shooting it, so it rushes them down. Don't do this if you're a new player. Don't buy this if you're. Don't go for this unit if you're a new player. Wait to invest into it if you're like trying to get PvP units later. Probably just don't invest in it at all. There's better things to do. Esterosa, this unit is actually very good. It used to cost 5 back in SEA, but it's gotten buffed down to 4, and it's going to be very dominant at launch. It's eventually going to fall off a little bit as better units come out, but she's going to get a Rearm later on, which is going to make her, once again, extremely powerful, like one of the best units in the game. So if you get her, hold on to her. She's going to be very good at the moment. She's going to be pretty decent in the future, and then in the relatively far future, she's going to be extremely good again. Elizabeth Pendragon. This is a unit that is mostly a PvP unit, although you can use it in PvE as well. She just does a lot of damage. When you deploy her, she can deploy anywhere on the field, and she does a lot of damage wherever you deploy her. So you can use this in PvP to drop it on the enemy backline and kill other units. Then she will move back to safety behind your front line, and hopefully start doing some more damage from back there. So she's a good PvP unit. Eventually she'll get outscaled a little bit, because she doesn't provide much utility aside from just doing damage, and eventually the enemy backline will probably be tanky enough so that it can survive the initial one-shot. Okay. Okay, that was weird. Shinjia. This unit is pretty decent. She doesn't have particularly good stats on her own, but she does buff up your team quite a lot. As you can see, it increases attack speed for herself and her allies by, I believe, up to like 15%, as well as crit. So she's a good unit. If you spend a little bit of money, you get it for free from the shop. If you get her, then yeah, she's fine to invest in, although not anything to go out of your way for. Lee Soo-yoon, this is a unit that doesn't really have anything outside of just, it's an off-tank unit that doesn't provide much utility. She's sort of just a beat stick. You deploy her, she hits things, and she takes a while to die. She's okay. Not anything worth pulling for or focusing on, but if you do end up getting her, she's okay. Just there's probably better options around. Na Yubin, he actually has pretty good stats for his cost, and he buffs up strikers quite a lot. Although, making a full striker team is not the greatest idea, so he sort of falters a little bit from that. He's just, if you want to play him for his decent stat line and for buffing other strikers, then he's okay. But outside of that, not that good of a unit, to be honest. Administration Sword Fighter. This is one of the best soldiers in the game at the moment. It spawns 2 of them, and if one of them dies, the other unit immediately restores their HP fully and increases their attack and evade for a little while. This unit is very good, and if you get her, you should use her. Gaeun, probably the best SSR in the game that isn't Yang Harum at the moment. She does a lot of damage. She's an awakened unit in disguise. 3 cost, does a lot of damage, stuns. She's also cute. So if you get her, use her. She's amazing. One of the best units in the game. Lumi, this unit's trash. John Mason. Okay, joking. This unit is very bad. In PvP, she's a PvP only unit because she immediately goes to the enemy ship and starts beating on it, and the only, like, if they can stop her, then it's okay, but there's plenty of ways to stop her. It's really just to catch your opponent if they're unaware. But there's far better units to invest in, and you should not be touching this unit as a new player. Probably shouldn't even be touching it as an experienced player. John Mason, you get this guy for free, you should use him. Jane Doe, you can get her for free, and she's pretty okay. Nothing amazing, but you get it for free, so might as well use her a little bit. Yang Harim, this is the best supporter in the game. You should probably pull for her, and if you get her, use her a lot. She provides some of the best buffs in the game, provides good shields. She makes your life a lot easier. She's like the Tamarin from E7 of this game. Kang So-yoon, you get this unit for free, and she's very good in soldier comps. Use her. Lee Yumi, she's probably one of the best tanks in the game. For that's not an SSR, for one of the best evasion tanks in the game. But since we're getting Serapel in the future, she's probably not worth pulling for. But if you do get her, she is worth using. Ju Shiyung, the gender bent version of her brother. She's okay. Sort of mediocre in both PvE and PvP. She has a weaker counter mechanic from her brother, but she has a little bit better other mechanics. but overall she's okay. Karen Wong, if you get her, she's pretty good actually. She does a lot of damage to air units, and she does some good damage to ground units as well. But in certain stages in PvE, she'll absolutely be dominating the PvE stage, making life a lot easier. But if you don't get her, don't worry about it. She is really good, but not good to not that good that you should worry about pulling for her or anything. Nanahara GPU, this is probably the best striker in the game at the moment. She does a lot. You can build her either very tanky. You can make her do a lot of damage as well. She has a defense break on her passive. She permanently increases her attack with her special skill, and she's bulky to boot. So one of the best units in the game, used even a year later in SEA. So very, very good unit. If you have her, use her a lot. Nanahara Chinatsu, an SSR healer that's worse than most other healers in the game, to be honest. She's okay. If you have her, you can use her. If you don't have her, don't worry about it. She's only mediocre. She does provide some nice buffs though, but there's other better units to buff and all that. Hayami Sanai. This unit is good against clumped up enemy units, and it's good in the defense stage for your simulation, although you should be able to clear it just fine without that, and that's not really that big of a deal, because you'll need to clear it once, and after you clear it, you never have to worry about it again. But she'll be very good in certain PvE missions and certain PvP metas, but outside of that, she's only okay. If you have her, go for her, but if you don't have her, don't worry about it. Rosaria Lafride, one of the best damage units in the game. It should be your second thing that you're pulling at the moment behind Yang Harim. She's very good. Her passive is extremely strong. Immune to all damage for 4 seconds upon deployment. Very, very good unit. Nukes everything. If you have her, use her, build her, love her. Project Doma. This unit's actually pretty solid. He's a little bit of a gimmick unit, but he's pretty strong just with his own stats on his own to make up for any issues. He's not worth pulling for if he's on a ban or anything, but if you do end up getting him, use him. He's pretty good. Dominic King Reginald. This unit is 4 cost, and he's a little bit overcosted for what he brings. He's just a giant meatball. He's a selfish tank, and he's pretty solid just for tanking, but he doesn't do anything for the rest of the team. There's better utility, and so don't try to pull for him. But if you do get him, maybe build him later on, because if he is upped for a week on like PvP, he will be an absolute menace there. But normally I'd say okay unit. Probably not worth pulling for. Hilda, this is the unit that you should have rerolled for. Use her, she's extremely good. She'll carry you through PvE. Yeah, love her. Li Jisoo, she's going to be another free awakened unit that you're going to get, and she's okay. She's a supporter that is she's really a striker that disguises a supporter. She has pretty good base stats. The only problem is that she costs 5, but she's good against certain stages, like for stages where there's healing, because she reduces healing. As you can see here, while alive, enemies' healing amounts are permanently decreased by 90%. So if you're against a stage with like a bunch of healing, like certain late game stages, she does have her uses there. But overall, she's only an okay unit. Einton's Way, this is the counterpass unit at the moment, and she's one of the best strikers in the game. She is very good, and after the counterpass is over, and if she goes on banner, she's worth pulling for, probably, depending. I'd say she's optional. It's 2 counters per for one deploy, and they're very cheap, very spammable. They're okay, and by okay I mean very good. Just not as good as some other units, but if you have them, love them. Otherwise, they're probably worth getting. Okay, and that should be back to Seiyun. So that's the SSRs. SR. Yumina, this is the main character of the game. She sucks, don't use her. Okay, just kidding. She costs 4, and that's too much for what she brings to the table. She doesn't have very good abilities, not really good stats. She's the worst of the 3 main characters, the 3 units that you get at the beginning of the game. Hilda, the best of the 3 units you get at the beginning of the game. She is not the same as Awakened Hilda. You should use both. She provides buffs to other units on your team, other counters, including herself, increases attack for all counters, as well as even further, and increases, so 18%, and also buffs counter crit. So She's a very good user. She's a solid off tank. She does decent damage, and she busts your entire team. And she's 3 cost. She's good. She has a good on deploy effect as well. Ju Shiyun, this unit has been nerfed a few times because he used to counter awaken units, but now he's still pretty decent. He's worth investing in and putting in like a secondary squad. I would not say that he's like a primary thing you should be worrying about, but if you do, like, I think he's pretty cool, and if you think he's cool, build him, go for him, and he's a pretty strong unit, so yeah, he's good. Eugen, this unit has been outpaced by plenty of other units, so don't really worry about her. She's only use her as like a filler unit. She's not really that good outside of that. You can level her up later on though, because she does have a counter case, so you can get some free stuff from the counter case. But other than that, she's pretty bad. Kim Sobin, this is a unit you can get for free from farming, and she's one of the best PvE damage dealers for single targets. For PvP, she sucks, but for PvE, use her. She's very good. She'll help you a lot in raid, help you a lot in, if you're struggling with damage in the main story. Rhino, this is a meme vehicle for certain PvP teams. If you're trying to make a cheese PvP comp, then use this guy. If you're not trying to cheese people in PvP, don't use him. Buzzard, this is a pretty decent mech flying unit. It's just that there's other units that sort of do its job better for DPS. It's sort of just mediocre. Recoilless Gunner, this is an anti-ground unit that focuses on taking down mechs. She's pretty niche. I would not recommend using her. The HM-MRLS, this unit is useless, do not use it. Scout, this unit is also pretty bad, it just provides no stats for the cost, don't use it. Sweeper, this unit is actually kind of decent, just the animations are long, so it becomes hard to use. So I would recommend not using him, but I think he looks cool, and yeah, but in general, don't use him. Blacktail, this unit is also very bad. It just doesn't provide much for the cost. Reaper, this unit is also pretty dang bad. All that it does is fly around and shoot such things and leaves. It's bad. Arachne, this is a very mediocre mech unit. Mechs aren't good at the moment, and this unit is also not that good. So if you have it, maybe for a side team if you want to build it for a mech team, but other than that, it's not that good. Benedict Constantine, this is one of the not so good tanks in the game. He just doesn't provide nearly as much as other tanks. Don't use him. Lin Jian, this unit is amazing actually. She's very good in longer content like raid and consortium co-op, and in certain PvE stages as well, where you'll have restrictions on like on deployment cost and all that. She's good. Use her, invest in her. She's very good. Jake Walker, this unit is pretty much the definition of mediocre. He's been buffed and nerfed and all that. He's okay. He just sits there, does some decent damage, is a bruiser, tanks a little bit, and refuses to elaborate. You can get him for free, so might as well use him as like a filler unit, but he's not top priority. Sylvia, this unit is very good in mech teams because she buffs for your mechs a lot, improves hit and evade and all that. She also does a lot of damage and stuns, and you get it for free for a pre-registration reward, so use her, she's good. Peacekeeper, this unit is pretty bad, it just doesn't provide the stats that you want for the cost. Okay, the Apache, it's pretty bad as well, it just doesn't provide anything really. Another unit that's bad, this unit just does nothing really. It drops bombs and it costs 3 and it does nothing. Aureus, this is a pretty okay healer. Once Yubin comes out, this seems gonna be pretty bad. But at the moment, if you need a filler healer, go for her. Liv Allen, this unit is mediocre. She's okay in some PvE teams, some PvE content, some PvP content, but there's far better options. Laura, this unit is pretty bad, although there's gonna be a refit of her, a Rearm of her, and then she'll be good, so hold on to her. Evelyn Keller, this unit's the best healer in the game at the moment. Use her a lot. She's extremely good. Ray Burnett, this unit is very, very good in PvE, especially raid, because he has a ton of debuffs. He will debuff, he'll apply attack speed debuff, he will decrease defense, he will do all the debuffing that you want. Use him in PvE, and PvP, he's worthless. Colonel Sanders, this guy is a mediocre tank. If you need another tank for like a side team, go for him, otherwise he's okay. This guy's a tower, and I've never seen him used ever. Tower meaning can't move, and he doesn't have any skills that make him any decent, so don't use him. Li Jin, this unit is actually okay. Just there's like it's pretty much the only mage in the in the game, although it doesn't have enough stats, enough value to justify bringing her, so don't bring her. Eddie Fisher, this is a unit you get for free, and he'll buff up all your stuff. He's very good in soldier and counter teams, so use him. Admin Rifleman, this is probably the best SR in the game that is for damage, because he fires extremely quickly and does a lot of damage, and he's very cheap. So if you get him, absolutely use him, and he will carry you through a lot. Administration Shieldman, this is also probably the best soldier tank at the moment. He's very cheap, you can drop him for 2, he taunts things, and yeah, he's just really good overall. So if you have him and you're trying to build a tank team, go for him. Troy Ina, this unit is pretty decent actually, although she's going to get immediately power crept by Sigma, so probably shouldn't use her, probably just wait for Sigma. Mia, this is a sniper that isn't very good at sniping, so probably should avoid her. Han Sarim, this unit just doesn't do enough for its cost. It just does nothing. It has no stats. It even for the things it's meant to beat, it actually doesn't do that much damage, and for the things it's not meant to beat, it does nothing. This guy is pretty bad. I've never seen him used, so don't use him. Okay, so the Counterside server is having some issues at the moment, so I will continue the unit review in part 2. See you then.